They go, well,
Wait.
I'll do
You're
it.
saying someone who bought crypto would fall for false promises of easy money?
Bitcoin is worthless artificial gold.
Bitcoin doesn't have any value in and of itself. It's not backed up by anything.
Within a decade, crypto and blockchain technology will be the 12th sector of the S&P.
Boys worldwide are right now holding their breath in anticipation of the biggest single day left of the entire year. That will set in motion generations and generations of either massive dumpage or gargantuan pumpage for the crypto markets. But will CZ collapse the entire industry first? You will have no choice but to be shocked once you see this. So sit back, pour some oil and vinegar down your trousers, and rub it in, because we are about to bust. Right now, Bitcoin faces its biggest single day that we will see for the rest of the year, and will set in motion the events of the crypto industry for at least the first quarter of 2023. As we jump into the much-awaited, much-anticipated CPI report, and many other big things as well. And the biggest question of them all, are we about to get completely dumped on? So you guys, the channel, make sure to turn these absolute time-sensitive alerts, and without any further ado, let's jump into this absolutely insane timeline here with Bitcoin right now. Let's take a look on the daily chart. So basically the last big event we've had in crypto was right here on this chart. And as you can see on this chart, we have done nothing but go sideways ever since, okay? We've just literally been going sideways. And it's so important to understand that, because tomorrow is the exact same event that will move the market. Without the CPI, basically, the market does nothing. And that has been proven time and time again. These CPI prints are literally the things that move these markets. And so with that being said, Sam Bubblebutt dumped on us 2 days roughly before the last CPI print right here. Right around November 8th is basically when everything happened on Twitter with CZ and Sam Bubblebutt and Sweet Caroline as well. And so that's why everyone was a little, angry. I mean, extra angry about that, because of course it happened 2 days before a good CPI print. And remember, we got the CPI print and we had a nice bounce, at least bringing us back above like the $16,000 level. And the rest is history. That was on November 10th, about a little over a month ago. And we have done nothing since then. Okay, we have done nothing. The Bitcoin price has done completely nothing. And right now we sit ever so slightly right above the 21-day moving average, right at about 17,000 almost, right around 17,000. And this is very big because we're going to be getting the CPI print in less than 24 hours. And again, if it's higher than expectations, we are going to dump, most likely. Very big, very big. We're going to smash through this and, will we set a new low if we are higher than expectations? It's very likely, let's be honest. But let's talk about the other scenario, because it's also, most people would agree that it's very expected we're going to get a 50-point hike, a 50 basis point hike here. 75% chance, actually, according to the FedWatch tool here on CME groups. And so far, they've been very accurate. This is exactly, usually when they have these, in fact, I don't think they've been wrong yet in terms of these probabilities. And it's usually overwhelming. Like, for example, I think last month was like overwhelming. It was going to be a 75-point hike, but it was like a 90% chance or something, and we got it. This month it's a 75% chance, only 25% chance that it'll be a 75 basis point hike. So again, it's pretty much written in stone. But again, keep in mind, because everyone's expecting a 50 basis point hike, if we would get a 75 basis point hike coming up, then of course we're going to dump cataclysmically here. But it is going to be based on the CPI reading that we're going to get tomorrow. In just hours from now, actually. So very volatile 24 hours coming, most likely. As you can see, as I pointed out, these markets do nothing except wait for the CPI prints. So that's something worth noting. But more importantly, with the SPX, we are right now sitting also right above the 21-week moving average. And if we get a bad reading, then the stock market is going to collapse, at least down below this 21-week, most likely, right? That's what history has shown if we get these readings, and Bitcoin will follow. And again, another reason this is so big is because the stock market has gotten rejected across this line multiple times for the entire year of 2022. And as we're exiting 2022, as we get our very last CPI for 2022, will this be the beginning of that trend changing, or will we end the year how we started it, getting completely dumped on? And that's really the main story here. And so again, this is make or break moment. I don't expect anything to happen, nothing significant, until we get the CPI report. The one thing that is important is that maybe there's that Binance FUD. And again, I don't want to speculate on it because I have no idea. Most people don't. There's maybe only 5 people in the world that know if Binance is solvent or not. So that's something we need to watch for. But let's also be honest about this. If, for example, Binance went the same way as FTX and they did similar practices, I have no idea if they did. I'm just saying, if that does happen, then don't expect an all-time high for at least probably a couple years. It will get dumpier than anyone could have ever thought possible. Binance is the #1 exchange in the world, right? So who knows? If they aren't participating in the same practices that FTX was, this is absolutely, good. That's awesome. I think a lot of people are already factoring in the possibility that maybe they were participating in similar, use of customer funds and illegal activity. So who knows? Again, I have no idea, but that is going to be a huge, huge, huge factor that we're probably going to find a resolution to over the next coming weeks. If we get a good CPI tomorrow, then it might not matter that much because the price will rise, in my opinion, and a lot of people will kind of take their eyes off of that, at least in the short term. And as well, the DXY continues right now to sit at a very pivotal level that if it does break down below, there, another big drop down to even like the 100 level on the DXY. As we've been talking about, we expected a bounce here because of how much previous support and resistance there was, right around 104, 105. We're just testing it right now. I do anticipate we are going to get some sort of multi-week bounce, even if it ends up being just a relief for the DXY. So again, we have to watch here. The DXY will, though, go down with fundamental news that the CPI, if it comes lower than expected. So really, if I would sum up this video in a sentence, it's that wait for the CPI tomorrow. That's basically the only thing that matters, and that will drive the markets. And something worth noting as well is that Arthur Hayes, the former CEO of BitMEX, basically saying that he believes Bitcoin has bottomed, as everyone who could go bankrupt has gone bankrupt, save Binance, except for Binance. That's the only one so far that could go bankrupt that has not gone bankrupt. So, he's saying that he absolutely believes that we have seen the worst. He's basically saying here, it looks as though everybody's been liquidated and they've used their crypto collateral right before going under. And so there's not really much more surprising shakeouts left that we have seen actually play out, though, over the last month. And here's another interesting chart as well, basically showing that, one more final capitulation before heading back up to the $30,000 range, with 11 to 14,000 being that ultimate target. I think that's reasonable. I don't honestly know. I personally think that it's very likely we could have already seen the bottom, but this happening would be just as likely. Although, if we're being completely rational, maybe even more likely here. Again, depending on this CPI. And also keep in mind that, if the Fed does pivot, that does not guarantee right away that the markets are just going to start pumping. In fact, the history has shown that, sometimes it in fact does the opposite in the immediate short term, and then it does start reversing. But basically, to look at this chart, I haven't been posting because there's literally zero reason to post. There is zero reason to be looking at these charts every day right now, because the one thing driving this market, Bitcoin, the stock market, the entire crypto market, the dollar currency index, like everything, is inflation reports, the CPI reports, and then the coming FOMC meeting as well. So these absolute time-sensitive alerts. Take advantage of over $30,000 in BITGET deposit bonuses below, $30 free simply by signing up. If you're interested in trading, 0 fees with spot trading on BITGET below, and a lot of other bonuses as well. So without any further ado, it's from me.